Alright guys, it's BLM here. We are back with a new Let's Play. We're going to be playing Assassin's Creed Unity. We already played this on the channel a while back in January, but we're going to be playing it again as part of the Assassin's Creed Marathon I have been doing, where I'm playing through all the Assassin's Creed games that are on PS4. I did 2 Brotherhood, Revelations, what was it? Black Flag and Rogue, and now we're going to be starting Unity. And to be honest, I'm not super excited to be doing this, but we're going to be doing it. I mean, Unity, I like Unity more than the general public, but I'm not like one of these people that think Unity is the best game ever made, or best Assassin's Creed game ever made, which there are people out there that do think that, and all power to them. But it's definitely a flawed game, but it's a game I really do enjoy. But I do not feel like playing this, to be honest, but I am doing Assassin's Creed Marathon. So why the fuck not? And also, I've actually never played Rogue and Unity back to back ever. So this would be cool to do, actually, kind of. I guess. I mean, really, it has no effect on anything, but still, I guess whatever. Let's do it. This is on my second profile, so I don't have to overwrite my save from my original profile, which I have completed almost everything. We have played. This is also where we did the last playthrough. So. I hope what I did was right there. It's kind of weird, that message though. Why did it say that? Okay, but it looks like we are cool. We are playing this. Alright, so I'm going to spend most of this episode, and probably I'm going to record another episode after this, talking about the Big Brother finale and the Survivor premiere that just happened. I'm literally raw from just watching it. It literally ended like 5 minutes ago. And I have a lot to talk about. So if you're in Assassin's Creed or whatever, I'll talk about that more so. Probably at part 3 of this Let's Play. I kind of want to just record this just to get my thoughts out about it. So, I don't think I've been this disappointed in a Big Brother outcome in probably ever. I don't think. Maybe Dan and Ian, but even then, like I saw, like I wasn't as disappointed. I think this with Tyler and Casey, I think again, Casey got the vote, so she deserved to win. However, I truly believe that. I think Tyler, if he had won, he would have been the second best winner of all time. I think that's where I put him in my ranking at the time, and I still stand by that. I'm ranking it based on dominant win. I'm not basing it on who's the best player, because if it's basing on best player, he is not the best player. He's not the second best player in Big Brother history. Mind you, I do think there's a debate for top 10, but he's definitely not. Like, I think the best player of all time is Dan Gheesling. I think Will Kirby is up there. I think Derek is probably up there. Actually, I don't know about. Actually, I think the more time that's gone by with Derek, I don't know if he's really the best player. But again, I think Derek had the most dominant win in Big Brother history. Okay, Jack Derry Morley, whatever, we'll do it. I think that the fact that he lost and the way he lost with the votes that he did not get, that sucks. I mean, I think there was very little he could have done by the point that he got to. I don't know. I think really looking back on, I mean, really, there's very little he could have done. I mean, no matter what if he had won that final HOH, he was going to take Casey anyway. He would have lost. Really, this was his best case scenario. This was his best case scenario for this finale. Was Casey winning final HOH, taking out JC. Tyler, that was his best case for winning. I mean, the fact that Fessy and Scotty both did not vote for him, that sucks. It really does. Because again, like, I talked about the jury votes earlier in the day today, and many times actually. Like 3 times I probably talked about the jury votes in depth. I thought Bailey was like 75-25. Leaning towards Casey, but I did think there was a possibility of voting for Tyler. I personally believe, I think Tyler got screwed by the jury format. I think the jury format is what it was back in Big Brother 10 and before, where the people could talk to the jury days beforehand during the jury roundtable and talk to them pretty much one-on-one. Like they could talk to literally have a conversation with them instead of these forced questions. I think Tyler wins that, wins the game. I think he gets Bailey's vote in that situation. The fact that Bailey was talking about how tough it was, I think Bailey came in there solid voting for Casey. I think she started to flip and then still decided to vote for Casey, but I do think she came really close to voting for Tyler. I think it is a shame that the game, the way it is now, does not promote I won't say strategic gameplay, but it definitely promotes a more passive game. And we've seen Tyler now lose 5-4 to Casey, a person who really played fine. Again, she's a very average player. I should say actually she's probably slightly above average, but I mean, she's a very passive player, and she never did anything the entire season on her own. Like, she never initiated anything this entire season. I mean, maybe she initiated the Tyler Final 2. We don't know. To be honest, actually, I would, from the way that Tyler played the game, I would think that she did initiate that. But that's the only thing. The entire season, like, going through every little thing that happened in her games throughout this entire season, she never made a move that wasn't being told to her. And again, I think this is really, I mean, I really think that the shame here is that while it wasn't a bitter jury, there were bitter jury members. I feel like Scotty was definitely a bitter jury member. I feel like Sam was. Are they rightful in their bitterness? Yeah, sure. But the fact that Scotty was bitter was very surprising, because I was talking about Scotty as a pretty locked vote for Tyler. Because as of the last time we saw him, I think he was voting for Tyler. I think he became more and more angry at Tyler as time went on. I think that is a shame. And also, I do want to say this. I think Tyler was going to lose 6-3 at the beginning. I think Haley definitely flipped her vote. I think the way that Fessy and Scotty were acting while Casey was doing the jury vote, all that sort of stuff, I think they came in with a plan that they were all going to vote for Casey. And I do think Tyler was able to get Haley to switch her vote, but it just wasn't enough. He needed one more vote. And it's a shame. It really is. I think he came so close to playing one of the most dominant games in Big Brother history. And again, this is the same way I felt with Dominic in Ghost Island. Though, to be honest, with Dominic, I'm more fine with that. Because I feel like, even though I think Dominic should have won, I think he would have played the third best game in Survivor history, I think I would have ranked him. Like, somewhere around there. Actually, to be honest, Dominic's loss is even more heartbreaking considering he actually got the tie and everything. But still, I mean, it's like, I can see where he went wrong. I feel like for Tyler, like, I could see where he went wrong, but I feel like there's just nothing he could have done. While I feel like with Dominic, there were things that he could have done here and there. But I just feel like with Tyler, I mean, he just didn't have the opportunity yet. By the time, I think the mistake he made was cutting Sam at 5, but then again, he would have to cut JC over her. So it's really, again, there's really no point where he gets away scot-free. And again, you could say that this is because of his final twos, but then again, if it wasn't for his final twos, he wouldn't have gotten to this point to begin with. A lot of these people probably would have turned on him earlier. So it's like, it's such a shame that this is a game now that doesn't reward aggressive gameplay, or that it's a game that awards passive gameplay over aggressive gameplay, because that makes for more boring TV. I mean, imagine like in a season where everyone is Casey. That would be fucking boring as shit. And the more and more this happens, the more and more it's going to encourage people to come in and play a game very passively. And I do think it is a shame. I think really, I mean, like, I believe Dan Giesling posted this on Twitter that at this point, there's a Sword of Eden, but it's become very, very difficult for someone to play in I can't say it fast. In Machiavellian, there we go, game, at this point. And I think it's 100% true. I think it's very difficult for you to win that type of game with the current format that there is now. And especially now with 3 juries in a row voting for the less aggressive player. Mind you, with Nicole and Paul, I do think Nicole should have won that. I do think while Paul played a more aggressive game that season, he was also played more aggressively because he was actively on the bottom every time because of things he did. So I don't have a problem with Nicole winning over Paul. I think that was 100% the right decision. But I mean, obviously last season with Paul voting, but then again, I mean, the general public perceived that as Paul lost due to a bitter jury, which was not the case. I mean, he lost due to many factors. I mean, there was one bitter juror, namely Natalie, but I mean, for the most part, he had opportunities to win. I mean, if he got to the end there with James, he wins almost unanimously. He wins, what, 7-2? So, I mean, it's not like he was 100% screwed, unlike Paul in last season where I mean, to be honest, I think Paul versus Christmas, it's still not 100% confirmed. I feel like, because the thing about Paul versus Christmas is the jury did not like Christmas either. Like, they had some sort of respect for Josh, even though they didn't like him, but with Christmas, they just genuinely didn't like her. And then also the fact that Whistlenut was so close to voting for Paul to begin with. I think it is likely, I think it is a possibility that he does end up winning him against Christmas Final 2, but that's neither here or there. Yeah, I mean, it's just, this game has transformed. But I mean, going back to like BB All-Stars, where Mike Boogie wins against Erica, who obviously Mike Boogie played a much more aggressive game than Erica. Back to BB10, where Dan plays a more aggressive game than Memphis. But, and I mean, even more recently, BB15, I mean, like, even without this jury thing, it's really this, I think this mindset by a lot of these people that watch these more recent seasons but don't really analyze the game, that think that, like, to play a game without getting blood on your hands is a better game. And, I already talked about my opinions of that yesterday when I was, but I think that's fundamentally false. I mean, the fact that you don't get blood on your hands means that more than likely you didn't do anything. Like, it's like these people seem to, and this is the same thing I talked about with, who was it? I forgot who, was it Paris? But whatever, this idea of voting for people based on what you think they did instead of what you actually saw. And I feel like this was part of the reason why Casey won. I think a lot of people perceive Casey to have played a much better game than she actually did. Because once you analyze her game, you really realize just how much she didn't do anything on her own. Again, she did things when people told her to do things. Tyler would go up to go to Casey and say, "Hey, you should build your relationship with Sam because I'm trying to keep her this week." She would say, "Okay." Then she goes building a relationship with Sam. Same thing with Bailey in week, was it week 2 or week 3? I forgot. But either way, he told her, "Hey, you should go to Bailey. You should build a relationship with her." And she's like, "Okay." And that's just happening over and over and over again. And like, really, I mean, it's like, it is a shame that this type of gameplay is being rewarded kind of from the misconception that they are playing a better game. Now, I mean, really, I mean, in realistic terms, I mean, she did win the game. So did she play a better game? I guess technically, but the thing is that when you replay a season over and over and over again, Tyler wins this season more times than Casey ever wins this season. Like, the fact that Casey is the type of player that gets very lucky, that can only win if she gets very lucky at the beginning. If she picks the right person at the very beginning of the game, she's able to win. However, if she picks the wrong person, she's gone very early, I think. Mind you, again, it worked out for her this time, so good on her, but it's not a game that's very... I would say it's repeatable, but it's just not, it only works probably like a third of the time. And even then, I mean, even the third of the time that she does, let's just say half the time that she actually ends up picking the right person, she could still be picked off towards the end of the game. I mean, it almost fucking happened this time, where Angela could have won the veto at Final 4 and she would have been gone. She was actually in a really shit position. She was actively trying to get to the Final 3 with her and Angela and Tyler. And in that situation, she gets voted out very easily there. Again, she just put too much trust into Tyler. And I do think if the Final 3 was Tyler, Angela, Casey, I think it's very likely that Tyler takes Angela at that point. At the Final Four, what would he have done? I don't know. I think that was a bit different. But I think when he's right at the end of the game, he has the choice between Angela and Casey. I think he takes Angela. And I don't think Casey ever even has the thought of taking Angela to the end. These graphics are actually really fucking good compared to fucking Rogue that we just went through. But yeah. There was that. Yeah, the votes were weird too. I mean, like, this is like what, the third season in a row where if it had been a 7-person jury, the runner-up would have won the game. And that's interesting. I don't think we need to go down to a 7-person jury, but I just think it's interesting that for a third season in a row, the first 2 members of the jury end up voting for the person that ends up winning in a 5-4 vote. Which is also interesting that this is the third season in a row that we've gotten a 5-4 vote. And actually, I mean, yeah, okay, never mind. I was gonna say 5-4 also in Celebrity, but no, it wasn't. It was 6-3, right? Either way. Alright, we gotta steal the apple. This is fucking annoying, by the way. Okay, what the fuck? The patch is in, right? I download the patch? Because it's seeming a bit sketchy right now. Because playing this game without the patch is pretty bullshit. Like, it's pretty bad. With the patch, it's fine, obviously. And to be honest, I mean, that's really one of the main reasons that I don't think this is the worst game ever, because at least the patched version of the game is pretty decent. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like, going through the... Okay, wait, I stopped already. I mean, I talked about this earlier, but I stopped. Going through the votes again, I mean, you got Bailey, who again, I think was very close to voting for Tyler. You got you got Rockstar, who I think was never voting for Tyler over Casey or JC. So,
what have we here?
Fuck.
A thief?
No, sir.
Wait, what?
Sorry.
Oh, we fucked it up. Okay, whatever. But yeah, I think that was... Yeah, he was never getting that vote. Which again is not... I mean, what's strange about that is that's not due to bitterness or anything like that. It's due to her political ideals. Which to me, I don't like, but I mean, the thing is that Tyler knew this already. So I mean, it's like, I'm not really gonna... I mean, like, whatever. He should have known that he wasn't gonna get her vote. And I do think he knew he wasn't getting her vote. Okay. And then you get to Fessy, which I think the interesting thing here is that, as we saw, Haley did end up switching her vote and voted for Tyler. The thing I'm interested in seeing now is if Fessy had voted after Haley, would Fessy have won the... would Fessy have voted for Tyler? And with that, obviously, getting Tyler to win. And to be honest, I think that's a possibility. I think it's a possibility that Tyler lost due to voting. Which, again, sucks, but I mean, there's nothing you can really do about that. Again, and to be honest, they voted in the order that they got voted out. So, I mean, it is what it is. But, I mean, that is a very strange thing that could have possibly happened. Scotty, I just think Scotty is bitter. I mean, I don't think there's any way around it. Scotty's such a strange person to me this entire season, too. Because, like, he always claims something, but never actually acts on that claim and ends up actually doing the opposite of what he claims to do. Yeah, I mean, this guy that's kept on talking about how big of a super fan he is, and then he ends up voting for loyalty over everything else. I was like, fuck you. Like, and also, it's such a bullshit claim too. I think he was just bitter against Tyler, really. But again, he has every right to be bitter. It's really dumb. It is dumb in my opinion. The reason why he was bitter, but again, he has the right to be bitter. Oh no, Charles Dorian's dead. Where's Shay? Well, see, I think what would have made the scene cool is if we saw Shay, like, walking out of the palace or something while walking in. That would have been really awesome, but obviously we're not. Which I think also adds to the fact that obviously this was in development for 4 years, while Rogue was only in development for 1 year. So I definitely think 100% the fact that Shay killed Charles Dorian was a last-second thing. I like, not last second thing, but obviously, like, I don't think it was really thought of until like the last year of the game. I don't even think it was a possibility. Like, they even come across their mind that, oh wait, there's this. I don't even think they even thought of who actually killed Arno's father until they were like, hey, can you make another game for last gen or whatever? And they were like, okay, maybe we could tie it together. Oh yeah, let's make the protagonist the killer. Let's do it.
Look at me.
And maybe the reason I think that is because obviously there's no reference at all to Shay anywhere in this game. And obviously, again, the fact that this game was in development for 4 years, while Rogue was only in development for 1 year, and the fact that they came out the same day, I definitely think that that is the case. But I feel like they definitely should have added shit, but they didn't, so whatever. Yeah, going through jury votes still. Again, I think Scotty, again, just voted bitterly. And to be honest, I don't think... I mean, the thing is, what could Tyler have done? Because I do think Scotty knew that Tyler had played the quote-unquote better game. I don't think there's anything he could have done to get Scotty's vote, or at least very little. I think Tyler's best... I think the thing that Tyler needed was either Bailey or Fessy.
Calm down, Victor. Come for my watch. It's my watch. I want
Yeah.
fairly. Well, in a just world, Victor, I would agree with you, but this is not a just world. This is France. You're a dead man.
Who's next?
Oh, step lightly, Dave. Hurt
Scotty.
yourself.
Haley. Again, I think Haley flopped her vote. I think she came in voting for Casey, and then I think she switched her vote based on the final jury questioning. Which, by the way, I don't think either of them did particularly well. I do think Tyler did slightly better in the sense that he actually said specific things, while Casey never actually said a specific thing. This is the thing that I find so funny about Casey. So she was saying, oh, my social game, I made such great relationships. It's like, did you? You never even fucking talked to Rockstar. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, you never talked to a lot of these people, especially, you never even talked to a lot of these people until after other people told you, hey, you should go talk to these people. Like Bailey in specific. Again, Tyler told Casey to make a relationship with Bailey, and that's why she made that relationship. You got Rockstar, who Casey hardly ever talks to. The only time she did talk to her that was ever really shown on the show, at least. Again, on the feeds they talk, I mean, everyone talks to everyone, but to be honest, Rockstar didn't talk to Casey either. But Casey definitely did not talk to Rockstar. The only time they were even shown interacting on the show was when they were fucking arguing over that Casey is pathetic due to her using the hacker power to put Rockstar on the block. Then you got Casey and Fessy. They never got along. They fucking hated each other the entire season. So much to the fact that at the time that they were... Okay, what the fuck? That frame rate just dropped there. But okay, what the fuck is going on? The frame rate's like really bad. Oh my god. Really, the patch should be downloaded. I don't know. Okay, whatever. I think the patch is downloaded. It's just that it is still this bad. I mean, it's fine now, but that was weird though. How far into this already? 23 minutes. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like Casey and Fessy never got along. They never liked each other. Fessy even said that, hey, it wouldn't be funny if we voted for a bitter jury. I vote for Casey. It's like, I mean, really? I mean, come on. Like, and then you get the Scotty. Again, Scotty and Casey never, they were more fine, but they never really talked that much. And then also the fact that when Scotty left the house, in his exit videos, he was talking about how much of a hypocrite Casey was the entire fucking season. And you got, then Haley, again, I do think Haley, again, the thing about this, Haley had a good relationship with Casey. Only reason for that was because Haley wanted to stay in the fucking game. Casey never went up to Haley and said, hey, we should have this talk, ever talked about anything. It was Haley that went up to Casey because Haley was on the bottom. Then you got Brett and Casey, who, again, very rarely had any real conversations. To be honest, Casey, of all level 6, outside of obviously Angela and Tyler, the one she was closest to was probably, Winston and Rachel. I mean, Brett was probably the person she was the least close to. Then you got Casey and Sam. Again, another situation where Tyler actively told Casey, hey, go make a relationship with Sam. And then after that, you got, Angela, which again, had a great relationship with Casey, obviously, but Tyler had a better relationship with her. And then after that, you got JC, who again, very rarely talked to Casey until these last few weeks. Like, it's really, it's so laughable to me that she claims that her social game is the best thing about her game, when really, she didn't have much of one. The more and more, to be honest, this isn't just now that she won, but this is something I had been thinking about for a while, especially after listening to these, RHAP recaps of, all these people's games. it's really made me realize I really think she's a very mediocre winner. Like I have I did a ranking right before I started the video. I put her at, I think 14. To be honest, I don't remember. I have her at like the lowest of the middle tier. Like I have her right. I have her above that bottom tier, which is either Josh and then a whole bunch of winners that won due to twist. So Josh, Jordan, Dick, Rachel, whatever else. But Casey is is at the bottom of that next tier. I think she's with like the Lisas of the world. Which again, Lisa played a great game. I think Lisa played a better game than Casey. The problem with Casey is that she was loyal to a fault to Tyler, and she didn't take him to the end because she thought she could win. She took him to the end because they had a fucking Final 2 deal since day 2 that Tyler had many other Final 2 deals with, which she never made a deal outside of that actual deal. I mean, obviously level 6, but that didn't contradict the deal with Tyler. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Did I finish the jury vote? I didn't, right? But I mean, the rest of them were Tyler, so I mean, there's not really much else there. But yeah, you got Brett. Actually, there's Sam. But you got Brett, who voted for Tyler again. I predicted that earlier today. You got Sam, who I said I thought was 50-50, but I did think it leaned towards Tyler. But I think she was upset with Tyler. I knew that. But I did think that when she talked to Tyler and Tyler did a jury questioning, and she saw Tyler how much he wanted, I thought she would give him the vote. Turns out she didn't. It is what it is. Again, I think he was, since the case that happened, I think there was no way he was getting her vote. I think he did the best he could to get Sam's vote at this point. I just don't think it was ever happening at this point. So, again, it is what it is. And then Angela and JC both voted for him. Again, people were worried about JC's vote. Again, when he said quality over quantity, you knew he was. I mean, any feeds watchers knew it was a vote for Tyler because that was the name of their Final 2 deal. But yeah, I mean, I think this is this might be the biggest Travis. I do think Paul played a better. I do think Paul played a more dominant game in Big B 19. But the problem with Paul is that a lot of the reasons why he lost were because of things that he could have easily changed. Like his jury management is so abysmal at certain points with people like Alex and people like Cody didn't whatever. Cody's whatever. But people like Alex, to be honest, people like some people that voted for him, like Raven, he had terrible jury management with. And obviously Whistlenut had pretty bad jury management with. But again, Whistlenut almost fucking voted for him. It's kind of funny that I call him Whistlenut all the time, even though obviously his name is Jason. But the first thing I think of him is Whistlenut because obviously that's his rodeo name, and he went by Whistlenut in the house here and there. But still, whatever. All right. Okay, we finished that mission. Well, fuck. I haven't even talked about the Survivor premiere yet, which was crazy in its own other way. Both the episodes today were pretty good. Oh my god. Oh, this game's great. Oh, fuck me. Oh my fucking god. Okay, the patch, I'm pretty sure I downloaded the patch. This is really weird that this is happening and there's so many glitches now. Because again, I usually I played the game without the patch, and yeah, it's very glitchy. But usually once the patch downloads, it's fine for the most part. But it seems like there's a lot more glitches right here. But whatever.
Olivier, if I weren't
so who else is there? What else is there to talk about? I mean, I thought this was the best case scenario for Tyler. The fact that Casey won the final HOH and voted out JC. This was his shot at winning, and again, I just don't think it was in the cards. I really don't think there was much he could really, especially because of the fact that Casey won out. And mind you, I don't think he would. I mean, once Angelo's gone, I think he was always taking Casey over JC, but I just don't think it was in the cards for him to win. The fact because again, with Paul, I think it's a very different situation where there's very blatant things he can do that would win him the game, and he just didn't do them. With Tyler, I don't think there's any blatant things that he could have done to win the game, and I think a lot of the things that are there are very nitpicky, and I just think that the game has changed. I think this cast was very much motivated by the reception to these last 2 seasons, where again, the perception is that the jury voted bitterly, so they were thinking, hey, we could vote bitterly too. I don't know. I would say that I'm saying that for Scotty mainly, because I think Scotty voted bitterly, and I think a lot of that is due to the mindset from a fan of the show from the last couple seasons. And again, even adding in Celebrity Big Brother to this as well, where again, a perceived bitter jury. I think the more and more a perceived bitter jury happens, the more it makes people think it's okay to vote bitter. It's the thing to do is to vote bitterly. And I think it's worrying for this game. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But I don't like. The funny thing is, again, all these people that are like considered the best players to ever play, like Dan Giesling, like Will Kirby, would they win in this current game? I don't think they would. I mean, actually, I don't know. I think Dan 10 probably wins. I don't think Will. But then again, Will was against Nicole, who's again an equally bad person. I think Will's game in BB2 is very overrated, and I will debate that till whatever. But okay, I think we'll end the episode here. Next episode, we will go ahead and continue on, and I'll talk about the Big Brother. I'll talk about the Survivor premiere, which was interesting in its own right. But yeah, fuck, that really irritates me though. I mean, obviously it's a game, and it is what it is. But it's kind of worrying for the future of this game, I feel like. But I might talk about it more in the next episode. But that is it for this episode of Unity. Next episode we'll continue on. But for now, thank you for watching.